TGIF, folks. Let's just jump into it. So, we're 2 cards different than the list we played yesterday. Isha, I started watching you when the Shadowborn Apostle deck was in Modern. I haven't looked back since. Can my deck submission be Abzan Hero with -2 Oglark and +2 Tithe Taker? Yes, definitely. In 12 months, the support comes with a wonderful sword, so let's do that. I will make a note of that. Alright, anywho, we are kicking off the day with some more Blue-Red Phoenix. We had someone ask to pay to get this run twice. I've changed a couple of cards from yesterday. Notably, I'm up to 4 Crackling Drakes today in the 75. I just really felt like we kept losing to sideboard cards yesterday, and losing to Graveyard Hate really feels bad, so I felt like I wanted just more threats that end the game. So I cut the Ascension from the main deck because it was just another card that leaned on the graveyard. And I cut the second Jace from the board because I felt like I'd rather just be killing them with Crackling Drake rather than trying to grind with Jace the Mind Sculptor. I don't think this is keepable. It only has 1 cantrip in it, and it's got 4 land, which is kind of a lot of lands. I actually just went ahead and added the Abzan Hero deck to my website this morning. Deck seems really sweet. I might actually write Cool Stuff Inc., even though I'm not writing weekly for them, left me an open invitation to post one-offs here and there when I have something to write about. So I might write a primer with a sideboard guide for that one. I think it's something people would like. Can I keep this? I mean, I hope you're playing Dredge, I guess. I hope you're playing Dredge, I guess. Morning, Jackal Girl. Alright, they're playing Jund. So I've got 2 Surgicals in my opening hand. Here's a real question is, do I even play Magic? Like, do I just concede to turn 1 Raging Ravine and just, like, sideboard appropriate? I think I do, actually. I've basically mulliganed to 4 because I have these main deck Surgical Extractions. And maybe I cast Opt there. And, like, if I find Faithless Looting, I keep playing. But, like, I need to find Faithless Looting plus a land. Okay, I think I'd rather just get to sideboarding and, like, have them only know I have a basic island. It could be that this deck's popular enough that, like, this concession plan isn't great just because, like, statistically we're this deck. Morning, Super. Happy Friday. Morning, Atheist. Yeah, one more Phoenix League. Get back to your regularly scheduled memes next week. Yeah, it's really, like I said, the Abzan Hero deck, it's super rare that a deck that feels like it has a decent matchup against aggro also can grind with Sultai. I feel like that hasn't been the case with anything in this format. I have a video uploaded that covers it. I'd imagine the entire humans versus this deck matchup revolves around Thing in the Ice, which makes sure your cards like Reflector Mage a priority to hold on to. Your Thalias are pretty good here, though, too. Seems pretty good. Because I don't have that many cantrips to start, I'm actually going to wait to play this Opt. So that way my turn 3 can hopefully be play triple cantrip, put the Arclight into play. I have my second land lined up already, and I know I want the top card of my deck, so waiting on the Opt makes a lot of sense here, I think. There's definitely a lot of micro decisions. And like the mid-range matchups especially, there's like, you know, you just make so many choices over the course of the match. So, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see them take Opt here. Like, they're a Jund deck, so, like, there's probably a pretty good chance their hand's full of, like, Fatal Pushes, Terminates, Abrupt Decays, Assassin's Trophies, like, ways to kill this thing. which in these interactive matchups, it really just feels like they kill my thing in the ice, they surgically extract my birds, and then like I just have nothing to do. And like obviously that doesn't happen every game, but it feels like that's what happens in the games that I lose. Just like our threat density is really low in relation to how much removal they tend to have. Evow, thanks for the 15 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Well, there goes my Faithless Looting. Thanks, Captain Magar. And it's a good note for everyone. If you haven't, if you didn't get the email with the sub survey, if you're a subscriber, Twitch doesn't always get emails to everyone for some reason. So be sure to pop into the subs Discord, and it is pinned in... It's pinned in the general chat. We had like almost 600 responses, which out of 2,700 subs we have at the moment, that's a pretty good rate, especially just for like in less than a day. Greasy, thank you for the 3 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, honestly, after playing this deck against the green-black decks, I feel like I understand why the green-black decks have been coming back into success. This matchup feels really hard for the Phoenix deck. Yeah, it should go to whatever email is on file for your Twitch account. Is a lumbering battleman. That's the party bus, Captain Magar. You don't know? You're not familiar with the party bus? Come on now. I don't think the red cards are relevant to green-black having a good matchup here. Like the bolts are kind of meaningless. So, obviously they can spellbomb my Snapcaster Mage trigger here, but this does force them to blow the spellbomb without drawing a card, which is a little bit of an advantage for us. It does save their Dark Confidant, which turns into more cards that way, but we're at least denying them some sort of value here. Morning, Millbot. That's a personal tidbit, DMS. Thanks for the 15 months. Welcome back. I mean, yep. I think Blood Moon getting a freebie is one of the ways we win this. So, here's hoping that goes the distance. Well, that was fun, you know? Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering. Alright, we're done here. Got it. Man, they just... I am so glad they don't make hate cards like they used to. Good lord. Good lord, old Magic hate cards. I am so glad that we have, like, figured out, for the most part, good design principles. Every once in a while, a Wilderness Reclamation sneaks through and it kind of sucks, but thank goodness there's no more Chokes or Blood Moons. Morning, Giddle. I don't really see it. Could you speak a little as why Green-Black X is good versus Phoenix? Yeah, you just don't have a lot of threats in the Phoenix deck. So the Phoenix deck doesn't... The number of threats the Phoenix deck has to the amount of removal and interaction the Green-Black deck has is just not favorable for the Phoenix deck. If they see Graveyard Hate, especially Surgical Extraction for your Arclight Phoenix, the green-black deck managing to kill, like, the portion of the 8 creatures that you draw and not, like, Thought Seize them is very, very easy. Wilderness Reclamation trigger should empty your mana pool. That's a really good fix as well. Emptying your mana pool. I could see it untapping, happening during your opponent's upkeep, but emptying the mana pool would be good as well. They did make energy. So, one of the things, and Mark Rosewater talked about this in one of his blog talks at one point, I think one of the things that's important to note about energy is that energy as a mechanic itself wasn't terrible. The issue with the energy mechanic was that it wasn't well balanced, and the cards that made energy didn't make energy in a way that made, like, the numbers on the energy cards were off, basically. And, like, that's not surprising that that's their first go-round for making that into a mechanic, that, like, the first time they make a new resource, the numbers end up being a little bit off. So overall, the issue with energy isn't that energy itself is an inherently bad mechanic, it's that the numbers that they put on the cards that generate energy were less than ideal. Jeskai thing, okay, and I discarded my Lightning Axe. That's the tough part about playing Faithless Looting early. It's like you kind of have to guess what you're discarding. My opponent let on Sacred Foundry tapped, which I took to mean that they weren't playing an aggressive deck and maybe Jeskai control. So I'd been to the Lightning Axe as opposed to my other cards that I felt were more relevant. We're getting pretty punished for it now. Zombie Token, thank you for the tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. That's a Snapcaster Mage for my Lightning Axe. So that sounds nice. Stop on my opponent's upkeep here and Lightning Axe their thing. If they cast spells during my end step, I'll probably Lightning Axe then, because obviously I need to axe this before it flips over. If they have a Remand or a Spell Snare or a Mana Leak, any kind of 2-mana counter, we're going to be in trouble. That being said, a lot of these decks don't play interaction like that. I think I've been the Bolt here. Hey, Vordal, thanks for the very generous tier 2 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for the 4 months in a row. Is it Charm? Well, I think we're dead. I guess maybe this Crackling Drake can block eventually. Maybe. This thing's gonna hit me for 7 this turn. And then I guess I have Snapcaster Mage to block. Nope. Not sending that one back to my hand. Dire Fleet Daredevil, my Surgical Extraction. Is it not time yet? You do still have a sub-icon next to your name, Clowncopter. So maybe it's later today. I think Jace is probably good in the Thing in the Ice Mirror. These Surgicals are... They're probably a Phoenix deck too, right? Which makes my Surgicals good. Lightning Axe seems reasonable. I think I'm actually going to trim a couple of bolts here. I guess double bolt kills thing, but that seems a little bit narrow. Do I want Dispel or Spell Pierce? I don't know that these are better than any of the cards I'm already playing. I think I'd rather just have more threats than have these cards to try and protect my threats. Because it's kind of hard to deploy a threat and get it going while also holding up a Dispel. Yeah, I think the Revolt Zoo deck's fine. I was actually just looking at going through all the modern decks on my website the other day. It's in the high potential section for a reason. I think it's very reasonable. Like I said, it's hard for decks that can Goldfish a turn 3 kill and have some small amount of interaction in them to not be reasonable in Modern. The deck checks all the boxes you want to check in Modern. Can Goldfish a fast kill, has a little bit of interaction for when people are trying to go faster than it. What does Goldfish mean? So Goldfish basically means if your opponent ignores you and doesn't do anything to interact with you, you kill them by a certain turn. So goldfishing means playing Magic by yourself, basically. So if we say a deck can Goldfish a turn 3 kill, that means there's some draws where it ends the game on turn 3 if the opponent's not interacting with it. Why would Steel Leaf Champion be good in the Revolt Zoo deck? You know, that addition doesn't make sense. A 3 mana creature is incredibly slow in that deck. Like, that deck's good because it's a bunch of 1 and 2 mana things, basically. I wonder if I haven't been mulliganing enough with this deck. If I've been keeping bad hands. This archetype's been putting up all sorts of crazy results, but it really just feels underpowered when we're playing it. Which, obviously, it's at least appropriate power level. It could just be that we're running below average, too. Our sample size is fairly small. What Super Friends deck do I like the most in Standard? Does the Abzan deck we played yesterday count? It has 3 Planeswalkers in the main and a Johnny in the sideboard. If Abzan Hero counts, I'm gonna answer that one. Because of Anger of the Gods and all the other small creatures. Your deck's just not beating Anger of the Gods, Oliver. If you want a deck like play Revolt Zoo, get to beat Anger of the Gods, pick one. The Venn diagram doesn't overlap. Like, don't put cards into your deck that are bad trying to beat a hate card that's probably beating you anyways. Yeah, that's true too, Chalky, and that's one of the things that's hard to measure in Magic is that, like, is this deck genuinely powerful and is putting up results because it's powerful, or is it putting up results because it just has lots of people showing up playing it? Like, we genuinely don't know the answer to that. That's just not data that we have access to. It's the earliest I can submit a Super Friends build around for the next set. When official spoilers start, I'll start taking submissions for New Standard. I don't want to start taking things super early. Or maybe after the first week of April. I don't want to take submissions super early and then have a backlog of points built up when we get there, basically. Like, I don't want people to submit things now and then, like, have them collect 30, 40 free points between now and when War of the Spark releases, basically. It causes too much inflation. We're 2 cards different from yesterday. I added more copies of Crackling Drake. My opponent's timer is still ticking down, so that means we're waiting on them. We're not disconnected or frozen. And this is why the Moto clock is kind of annoying. Lots of time is wasted, just like with your opponents doing something else, not because they're making game decisions. Yeah, the Blue Black Pirates deck is fine. I do update and remove things from the website when they're not good anymore. So, like, for instance, Mardu Hero was a deck we had up there early that we played it more and it felt terrible, so I took it off. Hey, Wiggles with the $25 tip. Thanks for your generosity. I appreciate it. Whoop. Where's my dashboard? I did not respond to deck submissions yesterday. I forgot to. I should, I'll be doing that. Be doing that today afterwards. You know, I felt like I was missing a part of my post-stream ritual yesterday, and I definitely missed that part of it. Some from 13 and 14 that I didn't get to, so I'll do that tonight after we're done. What it costs to upgrade standard Blue-Red Phoenix. Scalding Tarn costs $80, and you need 4 of them. Welcome to Modern. Enjoy your stay. Surgical Extraction costs $80. You need 3 of them. Good lord, that's 80 times 7 is... Been trying to push Sultai more towards aggro with 4 Spawn of Mayhem in the main. What else speeds up the clock for Sultai? I think Sultai is just not a very good aggro color zombie token. The thing that makes Sultai good in this format is its ability to grind. So trying to force it in a direction that's not really meant to seems medium. Yeah, I still have update gates on my list of things to do. It's weird. It's weird how much less gets done when I only work 9 hours a day instead of 12. I did get Abzan Hero added to the website this morning, though. Probably going to add Vanafear as well, especially if we have another good set today. Are we actually sitting here waiting for my opponent to time out for 10 minutes? This is why. This is why. Well, it's more than 25% actually, right? Because, like, the amount of time extra there, like, isn't just cut from streaming time, it's cut from post-production time, too. It's not even just the new schedule too, though, right? Like, it's the schedule. The new chat structures helped a lot too, which is nice. Hey, look, my opponent just made us wait for 5 minutes, and now they get to continue playing with no penalty. Whenever people say they really want the Moto clock on Magic Arena, I'm always like, how much time have you spent playing with the Moto clock? How many matches have you logged? Because I think the Moto clock is kind of miserable. Is Scalding Tarns just untapped Evolving Wilds? Yeah, basically. I know the current arena timer is not perfect, but I vastly prefer it to what Magic Online does. Like, so many people are playing the deck because they're easy to build, not easy to play. Cards like Thing in the Ice were bulk rares, the Phoenix being printed, it's cheap to build. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I feel like in my experience playing lots of Magic, whenever someone tells me a deck is hard to play when I say it doesn't feel very powerful, the answer is always the deck's just actually not good. People constantly use the cop-out of this deck's just hard to play, it's not actually bad, to justify playing decks that are bad. Am I getting remanded? Wow, that's brutal. Free the plebs. Thanks for the 9 months, Cookie. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. It is hard to play bad decks. You're not wrong. It is hard to win with decks that aren't very powerful. Stop it. Did you name one deck that's very good but hard to pilot correctly according to you? A lot of Magic is repetition. A lot of people, things that are like, a lot of Magic is just repetition. Like, there's a lot of people that tell you different forms of mathematics are hard, but in reality, they think the math is hard just because they're bad at memorizing things. And a lot of Magic decks are just like memorization for the most part. And like things that I find difficult to do, other people don't find difficult to do, and vice versa. So I don't know really that like classifying decks as hard to play often turns into something that feels very masturbatory. It's like people talking about how smart they are because their deck is hard to play. It's what it comes down to. Like every deck has small subtleties to it that make it. Oh, they drew the red source. Our opponent is playing an Aether Vial thing in the ice deck. You're not wrong. I basically just can't win, right? I basically have to find like double Lightning Axe here. I guess if I find another Bolt, I'm gonna flash this back and maybe find a Lightning Axe or two, and even that. Like Doomsday again is just a deck that's hard to play because it's bad. Like, winning with decks that aren't good is difficult because your power level of your deck isn't carrying you to victories. You don't get to win games because your deck is good or powerful or doing something really strong. Again, like, people attribute things like Doomsday to being hard because there's this big list of situations you need to memorize. So, like, if you're good at memorization, lots of things become trivially easy. I play Storm and have to do actual math to play my deck. It's really hard to count that high as I only have 10 fingers and toes, and my opponent always looks at me funny when I take off my shoes. Oh, that's loud when I move my armrests. A couple of people asked me about the chair. This is the DX Racer, which is one of the Tempo Storm sponsors. I'm going to reserve an opinion, both good or bad, which I don't know what my opinion is yet until I've sat in it for probably a week or so. It's like sitting in a chair like this, especially something that's you're supposed to use all day, is like something that I'm not going to have an opinion on until I've sat in it for many hours. So the chair is sweet. So DX Racer is one of the Tempo Storm partners. So they actually have, it's got Tempo Storm branding on it. Look at that. Look at that product placement. My life is turning into mono product placements. It's quite wonderful. All of the product placement. We're a real gamer now. Hashtag esports. And then I found a match and my opponent found the match, but did they click join within 30 seconds? They didn't, so the matchmaking fails. You're like a reality TV show. Yeah, basically. Is what I'll really miss from your Twitter. Well, I'm still posting some tweets. I'm just not posting tweets throughout the day. I don't have enough money to hire a full-time social media manager, so we have a part-time social media manager. How often you get asked to sponsor stuff that you reject because you're not fond of it? I probably have a little bit over 50% conversion rate with sponsor stuff. The ones I sign up personally. Hey, what's going on, Uncle Gale? Hope life's treating you well. I'm ready to experience daily Hoagland musicals. We'll probably get a few of those in. Well, who's got 2 thumbs and really wants a Faithless Looting? This guy right here. Do I... Okay, so, like, here's a question. Do I even opt here? Because if I opt here and I don't find, like, Faithless Looting into Surgical Extraction, I can't actually get my Phoenixes back, right? I think I'm supposed to wait a turn so I can, like, triple cantrip the following turn. The problem here is Temple of Triumph signifies they're probably playing some kind of Blood Moon Chalice deck, which means I'm going to get Chalice avoided this turn. Just, like, not be able to play Magic anymore. Maybe Crackling Drake can carry us to victory. How many ways do I have to kill Ensnaring Bridge in my 75? They just cast Boom. They just cast Boom. All right. Yep. That's, Yep. Oh, there was a Faithless Looting. I think I have to keep that. I know, like, I'm not going to have a red source anymore, but I think I have to keep that. I think if they're going to be blowing up my lands, I need to do this now. You look like Blue Moon. No, I don't think that's true. We Thought Scoured on one and been to Phoenix, so the jig is up. Yay! Magic! Yay! Yay! Chalice of the Void! Alright, so do I... If I Manamorphose into a 1-mana spell, I put 3 Arclight Phoenixes into play. I think I'm supposed to wait. Nah, screw it. Just draw a 1-mana spell. Now I have to draw 2 1-mana spells. I mean, like, the appeal to using the Manamorphose that turn is to try and use my mana. Because, like, I'm gonna get Crackling Drake this turn, which, like, use my mana the following turn. And, like, Crackling Drake looking aces here, right? Like, looking much better than a Pirate Ascension would be. And next turn I get to put all 3 of these Arclights into play. Or all 4 of my Arclights into play and kill them. Actually, they're actually dead next turn if they don't have a way to kill my Drake. Now, I think they're basically all the same Jekyll Girl. Pretty similar. Alright, so I would like to Lightning Axe, my Thing in the Ice, discarding this Arclight Phoenix. I'd like to Thought Scour, target you. And so, Lightning Axe, discarding the card is part of casting it. So even though it doesn't resolve, I still discard the card. Alright, so we're actually attacking for 20 this turn, by the way, because there's 4 Phoenixes in my bin. Welcome to Thunderdome. Enjoy your stay. Nice Chalice of the Void. You have a Lightning Helix. Oh no, they're still alive. I'm only attacking for 17 and they're at 23. How can we ever possibly win the game now, chat? And like, games like this are like, this deck feels real powerful, right? But just like, you don't have 4 Arclight Phoenixes and 22 cards every game, unfortunately. Alright, so Spell Pierce in. Shatterstorm in. Crackling Drake in. I think I want Jace too. Surgical's obviously bad. I think we just cut a bunch of 1-mana spells. It's in the face of Chalice of the Void. I don't think Dispel's good enough here. They don't tend to have a lot of instants, I don't think. None of the rest of these cards seem reasonable. Arena sounds, please, right? Gaga! Gaga! Yeah, I think so, Major Mouse. I think the Drakes are basically should be in a lot of the time. Now the bolts are reach. My opponent's not always going to have Chalice in play. I hear arena sounds in my head when I look at paper. I'm not gonna lie. When I cast Ravager Worm in person at the NRG tournament, I was incredibly disappointed. It was just like, this card did not jump out of the table and yell at my opponent. It did not literally punch its way through their search for Azcanta. The old double Rugged Prairie Opener, yep. Yeah, Faithless Looting would be pretty dope. Am I down with the kids if I say dope? Is that a thing I can say? Need a sock puppet to nom their land. Jeff, what's that for? That's my it's my Ravager Worm puppet. Makes me feel at home. Makes me miss the arena less. Dope fresh, dog. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. Oh. Ooh, fancy Gideon. Gideon's done gone to church. Got a stained glass window behind him. One of your finest Faithless Lootings, please. Oh, you know, maybe I'm supposed to snap. Maybe I'm supposed to Snap Scour this turn. Yeah, I'm probably supposed to Snap Scour this turn. But that was wrong. I should have Snap Scoured that turn. Hey, Takun, thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome. Definitely should have Snap Scoured. Think these decks are bad or just miserable? The no-fly list is based purely on decks being boring to play. Also, there isn't really a strict no-fly list anymore. Are we 0-2 or 1-3? We are 0-2, Burgle. Look at you. Look at you, knowing the modern metagame. We're playing against Red-White Prison. Are we 0-2 or 1-3? Burgle knows. He gets it. He's been around the block. We're in the Red-White Chads black bracket. Yep. Alright, let's go digging for a land here. I am down a card because I sequenced my spell wrong last turn. Great, we're hoping to draw an untapped land here so we can put Arclight Phoenix into play and kill Gideon. None of those are what I was looking for. And I can't, like, if I play the Serum Visions, I can't attack Gideon for 2 because it flips the thing in the ice. Man, that's miserable. At least the rest of what they have going on isn't very good. I think I keep all of these. Like, obviously I need another red source to cast these Crackling Drakes, but I've got these cantrips, and, like, the pigeon should hold down the fort in the meantime. You guys getting bored of playing interesting decks and also winning? Yeah, Burgle. I agree. Are we done here? It's feeling like we're done here. I guess I get to start putting pigeons into play. It has been eye-opening playing this deck again. I don't know that I'm gonna take this archetype again unless something drastically changes in the format as a donation deck. The games just aren't that interesting. It doesn't feel super powerful in relation to the other things I could be doing in the format. Like we've been talking about, it feels like one piece of graveyard hate and then a couple of removal spells and you just kind of flop around. And people love them interactive mid-range decks in Modern. There's a lot of that. Spell Pierce on the play. Let's do it. I mean, if they have Blood Moon, they come out in this matchup, right, Fancy Penguin? I don't think it is Thopter Gifts. I feel like its linear plan isn't... I feel like I'm playing Bad Storm every time I play this deck. I feel like its linear plan isn't good enough, and the way it plays through interaction just isn't ideal. I milled the Faithless Looting with the Thought Scour, Tom. So the Faithless Looting wasn't in my bin, so that wasn't an option. There's a lot of people talking about this being the best deck in the format. It just doesn't feel that good every time we've played it. Like, this is probably our 4th or 5th league with this deck if you go back and look. And every time we play it, I'm just kind of like, why are people playing this deck? I don't get it. How about we Spell Pierce their draw 3? Is that good? That feels good. Do. I knew that it would now. Do. It feels good. Like we knew that it would now. Do. Boop, boop, do. Recently said he thought Phoenix was better Storm. Maybe there's some big fundamental thing I'm missing every time I play this deck, but in the 20 or so matches we've played with it, it hasn't felt like it's doing anything exceptionally powerful. It feels like it's doing things that are fine for Modern. Like, I look at this and I go, yeah, like, it's got some linear stuff going on, and that's fine. Like, this deck ticks the boxes you kind of want to tick in Modern. It doesn't jump out at me as, this is the best deck in the format and we should be worried about it. You like Grixis, Phoenix, Storm, and Legacy. I have no idea what that deck is, Chalky. It's not something I've played. I could have put Phoenix into play here. Maybe I'm supposed to. I don't know. I kind of want to play Thing in the Ice out and then Serum Visions. And like next turn, flip the Thing and put Phoenix into play. This does give them a chance to both Rest in Peace and Chalice of the Void me. But getting Thing into play is pretty appealing. Would it have been better to pierce the Molten Rain? Why would it be better to pierce the Molten Rain? Why do I need 4 lands? What are we doing that requires the 4th mana? Our opponent's playing like Red-White Prison. Like Rest in Peace, Chalice, probably Ensnaring Bridge. Alright, so we're getting a bunch of looks at, and finding another bird here. I'm really not interested in a Thing in the Ice, huh? I'm just gonna go bottoms up here. No, I don't play Commander. Competitive EDH, the queues don't really fire on Magic Online. Because the format's not particularly popular. And the format not being particularly popular is the reason why I don't make content for it. If you dig way back into my archives, you can find us trying to play it. It's not particularly successful. And the gameplay's kind of bad too. Singleton formats and their best of one are just like super high variance. Like both Singleton being high variance and best of one being high variance makes for kind of mediocre gameplay. They discarded an Anger earlier, yeah, so not super surprised to see Anger happen here. That being said, I still have a 7-8, so it's like, good luck, Godspeed. I guess I play this and put Lethal into play. There might be merit to holding up Snap Pierce to play around like Wrath of God here. So they're dead to this Lightning Bolt. Would Molten Rain be better in our deck than Blood Moon? I feel like this deck is bad enough against the fair decks, Admiral, that you need Blood Moon to try and get free wins. So far, every time we've played against Jeskai or Blue-White Control or Green-Black or Jund, I felt like a huge dog. Alright, we're on the scoreboard. We've beaten red-white cards. Yeah, if you dig back into my archives, Ebo, you'll find some CEDH there. My back-to-back family football championships. Hey, can we just like find the matchups where our surgicals are good? This is like we've played 8 matches with these main deck surgicals and like haven't played any graveyard decks. Are foosball and football different? Like the bar, okay? So foosball is different from ping pong, right? Ping pong is paddles. Ping pong's like mini tennis. Foosball is the... Oh, it's the spinny thing you're talking about. I got you. We didn't play games like that growing up. I mean, like, this hand's potentially really good if, like, Surgical has a text box. Oh, look, my opponent's playing a deck where Surgical doesn't have text. Imagine if this was Gut Shot. Could you imagine if this was Gut Shot? How good would this be if it was Gut Shot? And this is why, like, being kind of cute and metagaming in Modern feels real bad in my experience. Can we just play good cards? Imagine if these were Gut Shots. Oh, they're gonna freebooter my Faithless Looting. And now my hand just doesn't do anything. Yep. Yikes. So it was 60 degrees here in the cornfields yesterday. And this morning it's snowing. Yay, weather. Okay, alright, so you're saying there's a chance. Take a chance on me. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Is that sort of weather typical for your area? Getting both snow and 60-degree weather is typical. However, getting it in back-to-back days is not typical. All right, let's do it. We weren't actually dead yet, right? And like, again, playing these leagues and watching them every once in a while is a good remembrance of, like, why there's so much variety in a format like Modern. At the end of the day, these decks that are busted aren't that much better than the average deck in the format that other people play. So if you like your deck and it's not the best deck in the format, that's okay. It's really okay. Just, you know, enjoy playing it. Magic's great. Play decks you love, etc., etc. Working to a year, twin to win. Thank you for the 10-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Oh, maybe I'm supposed to looting just because I have extra lands, but like, I know I want lands 3-4 for this Crackling Drake. I would love to be able to play with the card Thopter Spy Network in whatever the new format is. That card was just like pure gasoline. Hey, Arsenix, thanks for the Twitch Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. I think I'm gonna keep both of these, huh? Let's go top. Cast this Faithless Looting. Ditch Pigeon plus Scalding Tarn. Cast Thought Scour, put Pigeon into play. Thopter Spy Network. Thopter Spy Network's like if Bitter Blossom and a card that an Howling Mine had a baby. What does the bird say? Caw-caw! Alright, let's stand up for a bit. I really should. I feel like I should probably do most of the first league standing. Although we're through most of this first one now. Thopter Pie Network. That's a holiday card, isn't it? Hey, look at this incredibly reasonable and beatable board. I suppose if we hit a series of cantrips, this hand's actually not that bad, right? We get to put our TT into play and like send all these things back from whence they came. I'm just gonna go ahead and bolt the lieutenant. I think Pigeon is on chump blocking duty this turn, or trading with Kite Sail. And then hopefully next turn, Faithless Looting finds us 2 1-mana plays. However long you think it takes to program something into the game, double that time, and that's how long it takes. I'd probably argue you have to do more than double it for a lot of people. A lot of people just have no clue how long software development takes, especially if you're doing, like, proper testing. There's that incredibly reasonable and beatable Thalia Magic card. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're playing the best deck in the format, chat. Best deck in the format. Someone was asking about the humans versus this matchup earlier. Man, Thalia's Thalia's a something. They forgot to attack with their Mantis Rider, and it doesn't even matter. Alright, Crackling Drake kinda holds the fort, not really. I suppose if a miracle happens, we can draw a 1-mana cantrip next turn and then play 3 1-mana cantrips. I could also draw Lightning Bolt, Bolt Thalia for 2 flashback Faithless Looting, and then have another 1-mana card to flip the thing in the ice. You're gonna get Reflector Mage to get murdered. Yeah, that's probably how this story ends, having read this book before. We just need to draw Manamorphose, and then Manamorphose into Terminus on their turn. I guess Manamorphose as a draw is not terrible for us either. Actually, I'm going to block their haste creature here and go to 4. I think they should have attacked with these as well. I guess that gives me a chance to kill Thalia, which is bad. Yeah, they have Kite Sail for Rooter too. Not that it matters because we don't have anything, but do I think Mother of Runes would be fine in this format? I think Mother of Runes would be fine in Modern the same way that Punishing Fire would be fine in Modern. I think it would create miserable games of Magic that aren't really interesting and lead to people having interaction that's no good. So, I don't think Mother of Runes would generate games of Magic that I'm interested in having added to Modern. Gosh, I really hope you said that before I said it, Burgle. Like you typed it before you heard me say it. That's fantastic if so, and we're on point. My last takeaway from this deck is I get that people are playing main deck Surgical Extractions and maybe just like leaning into winning the matchup lottery is what you're supposed to do in Modern, but these felt really bad in a bunch of the matches that we played. Like, we lost so many games just like having 1 or 2 Surgical Extractions in our hand and just like it being a matchup where that card's just completely dead. I'm not a big fan of this deck. I feel like Against the interactive decks, they just like Surgical or Graveyard hate my first couple of Phoenixes, and then they like kill my Thing in the Ice and my Crackling Drake, and I just spin my tires and don't do anything. And I feel like against the linear decks in the format, my linear draws aren't good enough to race, and like Bolt plus Surgical Extraction isn't enough meaningful interaction. I really feel like the only matchups where I feel super far ahead with this deck are, one, when I have my absolutely best nut draw, and two, matches where Thing in the Ice is really, really good. And even then, in order for Thing in the Ice to be good, my opponent has to not have a Path to Exile or a Reflector Mage or like any of these other things that exist. So that's all I got. I don't think we're going to see Commander come to Arena anytime soon. The devs are on record talking about how adding the